Hello student, how are you today? Myself, Rajkumar Gupta, welcome you to this session of learning. Today we are going to learn a topic called Consignment Account. Student, any businessman, manufacturer or a wholesaler who wants to sell his goods in other city or the state. There are many methods to do so in modern age. Out of this, opening a branch or a sale on consignment could be a good option. But opening a branch is a little difficult, risky and expensive task because we don't know the level of risk in that area and we are multi-level in that particular area. So sale on consignment will be the best one to understand the market and profitability in the particular area. In consignment business, owner appoints an agent in the city and send the goods to him on his own risk. Agents sell goods on behalf of the sender of the goods. The person who sent the goods is called as consignor and the person to whom the goods are being sent is called as consignee. Therefore, their relation is called as principal agent relationship and this type of business is called as business on consignment. Let us understand some feature which we discussed. The relationship between the two parties is called as principal and agent relationship. It is not of buyer and seller. Students are always confused in this. So, understand the relationship between these two is always a principal and agent. Goods are sold at the risk of the consignor, that means at the risk of owner. Profit and loss on consignment belongs to consignor himself. The consignee is only and only concerned with his commission. If the goods are damaged or destroyed, the consignee is not at all responsible for damaged goods. The consignee is entitled to recover all his expenses that he incurred during the course of consignment or selling the goods to the customers. Let us understand some journal entries and what accounts are prepared. Books of consignor first. So, in the books of consignor, three main accounts we are going to prepare. They are consignment account, goods sent on consignment, and the last one, consignee account. And now, just understand some of the journal entry with some transaction. Transaction number 1, when the goods are sent on consignment. Student, here the entry will be consignment account debit to goods sent on consignment. Now the next transaction, consignor pay expenses to make the goods available to the consignee. For that, entry will be consignment account debit to cash bank. For any sort of expenses, we have to debit consignment account. Cash is going from owner's pocket for insurance, wages, freight charges, etc. So, cash account will be credited for the same. Now, the next transaction, when consignor receive cash as an advance or a bank draft or bill of exchange from consignor, entry will be cash, bank or bill receivable account debit to consignee. If we are receiving cash, then we have to debit cash account. If as a consignor we are receiving bank draft, for that bank will be debited, and if we are receiving bill of exchange, for that bill receivable will be debited and credit will be given to the giver, who is consignee. The next transaction is when consignor discount the bill in the bank. For that, entry will be, as we are receiving money from bank, entry will be cash or bank account, consignment account debit to bill receivable account. Here we have to make a note of it. consignment account will be debited for the discounted part which will be deducted by bank. The next transaction for booking of sale. For that, entry will be consignee account debit to consignment account. Now the next transaction, when expenses are paid by consignee. Here you have to understand whatever expenses consignee incurs for the purpose of consignment, consignor have to book the amount for the same. Consignee will pay the amount and he will recover the amount from consignor. So that entry will be consignment account debit to consignee account, because here whatever consignee incur for the consignment purpose will be considered as consignor's expense. For that, consignment account will be debited and consignee account will be credited, because consignor become liable to pay the amount to the consignee. The next transaction, when the commission is payable to the consignee. Generally, this commission is calculated on total amount of sale. Otherwise, if it is directly given in the question, we have to directly take that amount of commission and we have to pass that in the entry. But if percentage is given, in that case, we have to calculate the commission on sale proceed. For that, entry will be consignment account debit to consignee account. And then next transaction is when we receive the balance amount from the consignee. This we also called as entry for remittance. In this, consignee can pay amount in cash, bank draft or through bill of exchange. For that, entry will be cash bank account or bill receivable account debit to consignee account. Here, if you are receiving amount in cash, for that cash will be debited, and if you are receiving amount through bank check, then bank check or bank draft, then bank account will be debited, and if you are receiving amount through bill of exchange, for that bill receivable account will be debited, and consignee, as he is a giver of the amount, consignee account will be credited. Now the next entry is for recording of closing stock. Now here I want to say something. Remember that whenever consignors send goods to consignee, it is not always possible that consignee sell total goods or he sell all the goods whatever is been sent. Sometimes some goods remain unsold. That we have to book in this transaction. The entry for that will be stock and consignment account debited to consignment account. Now next entry is for closure. That means when we close this consignment account, we'll get the balancing figure as a profit or loss. If there is a profit, for that entry will be consignment account debit to profit and loss account. That means the amount will be transferred to profit and loss. And if there is a loss in consignment business, for that entry will be profit and loss account debit to consignment account. I hope these entries are clear to you. Now the next entry is for closing goods sent on consignment account. In that, we transfer the amount of goods sent on consignment to trading account. For that, entry will be goods sent on consignment account debit to trading account. Now the next entry which we are going to discuss is not that very important entry, but if it is specifically given in the question, then only we have to pass this entry, that when goods are taken by consignee for his own use. For that, consignee account debited to consignment account. This entry will be passed. We finished with the books of consignor. Now we'll move to the books of consignee. And which ledger consignee is supposed to prepare, that we are going to understand here. Remember student, when nothing is specifically asked, we have to prepare only consignor account in the books of consignee. If they are specifically asked that prepare all necessary ledger account, in that case we have to prepare consignor account, then commission account, profit and loss account, Credere Commission account, and so on. But this we have to prepare only and only if it is specifically asked that prepare all necessary ledger account. Now we'll move to the entries in the books of consignee. So the transaction number 1, when consignee gives advance to consignor. Now we have to think these entries from consignee's point of view. Think here that we as a consignee recording this transaction. Now here consignee is giving amount to consignor as advance. So obvious consignor will be receiver. So consignor account debited to cash if I am paying the amount in cash, to bank if I am paying the amount through bank draft, and to bills payable if I am accepting the bill. Next transaction is when consignee pay expenses on behalf of consignor. Remember, as a consignee, I am not responsible for any expenses of consignment business. So entry will be consignor's account debit to cash, or if I paying the amount by check, then to bank account. Next, when consignee sell the goods. Now here consignee have different option of selling goods. Consignee can sell goods on cash. For that entry will be cash bank account debit to consignor. Remember here he will not record sale in his book. He is recording this transaction in consignor's account. So he will not book his sale. He will not book consignee sale. He will book the name of consignor for that. So entry will be cash bank account debit to consignor's account. And for credit sale, the entry will be consignment debtor account debit to consignor's account. When we receive the amount from consignment debtor, entry will be cash bank account debit to consignment debtor. Now next transaction, when goods are returned from these debtors. For that entry will be consignor's account debited to consignment debtor. Remember we have just reversed the entry which we have earlier passed. But the amount will be recorded only for the return amount. Now the next entry is for when consignee keep goods for his own use, or we can say consignee purchase goods for his own use. In that case entry will be purchase account debit to consignor account. When consignee book his commission. Now before we move to this entry, let us clear some basic about commission. Now here consignee can get different types of commission. Generally normal commission or Dale Credere Commission. Now I have to clear you that there is a difference between commission and Dale Credere Commission. Normal commission is a commission which is given to consignee for making the goods available to the customer. That means making the normal sale. And Dale Credere Commission is given to consignee for taking the guarantee that if there is a bad date, then consignee himself is responsible. Consignor is not responsible for the bad dates. Entry for commission will be consignor's account debit to commission or Dale Credere Commission. If you are getting normal commission, for that entry will be consignor's account debit to commission account. And if we are getting Dale Credere Commission for taking guarantee of bad dates part, then the entry will be consignor's account debit to Dale Credere Commission. For settling account, that means for giving the balance amount to consignor after deducting his expenses and commission, consignee remit the amount to consignor. For that entry will be consignor's account debit to cash, bank, or again I am repeating, if you are paying the amount as a consignee, if you are paying the amount by cash, then entry will be consignor's account debit to cash. And if the amount is paid by bank draft, the entry will be consignor's account debit to bank. And if the amount is paid through bill of exchange, the entry will be consignor's account debit to bills payable. We complete the theory part of topic consignment. Thank you so much.